Good afternoon, everyone. You are listening to the Author's Quill with Joe Montaldo and John Goodwin. We've got a guest coming on in a minute. We're letting him work out some audio problems. We're going to bring him up in just a minute to see if he's got them rendered. I hope everybody is having a good Saturday wherever you happen to be on our big, beautiful planet. I think we're at 167 countries on this show now, give or take, on any given week. But so welcome everybody out there that's listening to every time zone on the planet. So when I say that, remember, people, for some of y'all, it's actually early Sunday. For a lot of y'all, it's late afternoon or wee hours in the morning if you're on the other side of Europe. So I hope y'all enjoy the show tonight. And John promised he's going to be behaved, and I'm always behaved, so we don't even have to worry about that part. And oh wait, I was going to give something away. Well, I have to find it because you can't see it back there because my desk is in the middle of being remodeled. So, John, how you doing? Let's check on Michael right quick. When John's talking, we'll talk on
Well,
Michael.
I'm
I can
doing good.
hear.
Oh, good. Yay. Okay, here we go, Michael.
I'm so sorry. I got a new computer recently, and for some reason, no matter what I tried, it was not letting this work. It worked just fine the other night when I was on Rendezvous with a Writer, and yet for some reason this time nothing. But I switched to my phone. We're good. Everything's good.
Yeah, it
Oh,
happens
good.
sometimes. Technology can be wonderful and a pain in the what at the same time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But compared to the way we used to have to do this with hybrid boxes and preamps and all sort of interesting creatures, and because to put anything on the internet used to be a major problem. I mean, you had to change the audio, fix it down, bring it down, and then they had hybrid boxes that brought your phone line into your computer and turned it into digital, which was sometimes good and sometimes, well, horrible. We'll just be honest about it. And then somebody invented Skype, which changed things, and now we have StreamYard, which is pretty easy these days. It makes life, compared to what it used to be, it makes everything's high def audio, the whole good thing. So once you're working, everybody's seeing and hearing you, and just as pretty as you can be. So anyway, how you doing? I mean, it's a couple about a month now. Yeah, not quite a month yet, but almost a month.
Couple of weeks.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. Still, a little hyped up or calm down now. Or
That's what I've told everyone is like I actually I was the first member of the Wolf 42 group to come home. And what I told everyone is that anyone expecting to go back to normal, just understand that normal is not waiting for you when you get home. There's a new normal waiting for you. And
Yeah. Explain how that is, too, because it's, you've been, you're striking while the iron's hot. And right now you've got,
oh yeah,
you're as Marty Cove used to say when he was on so many shows in the 70s, and he said, back when I used to be the flavor of the month. So right now you're like, you can be the flavor of the month, but now's the idea is to keep on reinventing and recreating as you write and publish stuff, and you keep that going.
yeah.
So how's that working for you? How's that true that you're?
I'm taking every opportunity I can to make sure that my name stays on people's lips and that it's firmly tied to the anthology. Obviously, the tide raises all ships is a phrase that I've used a lot. So I've been visiting bookstores, setting up book signings. I've been letting people see my face. I've I've been on shows like this one, for instance, and I've been putting up blog posts, doing everything I can to push all of this to my platform.
let me ask you a question. Is it easier to book um, signings now that you're a winner? I mean, I'm just asking because I know
Oh yeah.
some people tell me they've gone to bookstores and they're like, "Well, who the hell are you? Why would we let you sit in front of our bookstore?" And I'm
Well, I
like,
mean, so this is my first published work, and so I'd never actually been even trying to set up the signing before because I didn't really have anything to sign. But what I've kept on telling people is that so I, from the very beginning here, rather than trying to go through email or anything like that, I have been going into bookstores in person.
Mhm. I
And
agree.
I keep on hearing the same thing from every bookseller I talk to, that they are so happy that I came in person because they said, like, they get emails from local authors all the time looking to set up book signings, but they never see this person's face. They have no idea who they are. And so seeing me and having me come into the store and introduce myself in person with a handshake, apparently that makes all the difference.
It makes a big difference. I'm not gonna lie. When I first got in construction business, I used to bring my flyers out with a card personally to every property. So, just to meet people, say hi, I'm Joe. Here's a list of what we do. Here's a list of prices. Here's my phone number if you need us. And let me tell you what, it got me a lot of my customers told me that's what sold them, that I came out there to introduce myself. Doesn't mean anybody can send out a card or drop an email. I mean, today with internet, you can spam everybody, but personal attention's just better.
Yeah, definitely like that. So what's been for you been the most exciting part since winning?
I think that, well, I mean, for one thing, a few days ago, like during the launch, actually, Orson Scott Card followed me on Twitter, which was definitely something I never thought was going to happen. Like I periodically look at his Twitter page, and I can't remember what he put up on release date, but I went on there and the little follow button had changed to follow back, and that was really something. But I think the biggest moment.
I hope you did.
Oh, I did, of course. How could I not? But I mean, I think the biggest moment so far was just yesterday. I visited Joy and Matt's bookstore to drop off one of the posters that was provided to me by Author Services and Galaxy Press, so that Joy, one of the two owners, could advertise my first ever book signing, which will be on Saturday, May 23rd.
Which is really exciting, and I know that. Probably Julie or Mitch or Emily or all three of them will be doing, because what we do as well to help flank this, we have our mailing list, which has got like 60,000 names or something like that in it. So we'll take a perimeter around your bookstore and we'll email every one of those people saying, come meet Michael Kuester at this date at this time. And we also have, usually, because we've been around for so long, we have friends or supporters in all the various bigger cities. So in Cincinnati, we can call people we know there and tell them to rally around the campfire there and get their friends to come and see you and help you. And then obviously you got your friends and family and cohort, that will come and join you. And the actual trick is, because it usually goes like, you got up here and then it goes down and then down and down. So how to pace yourself so you make sure that all these stores that you go to, there's enough traffic that you've been able to drive to it to make sure it's going to be successful wherever you go. That's a key part of that, because they'll remember you. So when you come with your next book, hey, I got my next book, so I'd like to come back. And sure, because they do like the local boy angle, which is something you can definitely provide in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like the phrase I've kept on using when speaking to the other, Wolf 42 group winners is I've told people, like, the way I see this, every time I go in to one of these local bookstores and introduce myself, I am starting a relationship. Yeah. I'm not just trying to set up a signing, because, I mean, Joy, who I just mentioned a minute ago, Joy and Matt's bookstore, like, they are the premier sci-fi and just generally spec fic bookstore here in Cincinnati. And when I went into her, one of the things she said that when all of these local authors reach out to them via email and never bothered to come in and see their face, she said, like, we feel like we're being used. Like they're just trying to use us to raise their profile. And so obviously they have very little interest in doing that. So me coming in person, that began a relationship with them.
That's right, which is great. And that's one thing you'll find also with Rise of the Future, that as long as you keep on, fighting the good fight, we'll be with you and behind you and supporting you all along. And so I've got, you saw Nina Creaky Hoffman. She was in year one, We're still promoting her, and anybody that's still, interested and wants, we're right there for you to help support you. And I've got various interviews I do with when someone comes up with their first novel. Great. You get preferential treatment on any new release you got coming on as a writer of the future winner on both the podcast and on this Author's Quill show, because you have family. So
you hear, man.
So I guess because a lot of people listening to stuff, they themselves are readers, but they're also authors and are interested in people's stories. So now you're on that transitional journey up to being, you can be one of those, the next Scott Cards or Kevin Andersons or Larry Niven's type thing. Because I know you definitely have the hustle in there to do that. Kevin was he was a serious probably he's the most energetic and enthusiastic and hardworking author of any I've ever met.
Yep.
He'd go to shows, conventions, and you'd see him walking down the aisles with a box of books under each arm, going to his next signing. He just constantly kept on going there. When he'd come to LA to do book signings, he'd call me and say, "Hey, John, I'm going to be coming there. Can you make sure there's people in the audience?" And this is what he and Brian Hurt was coming there at the beginning of like the Dune prequels. They weren't known. And so I'd get carloads of people coming to the bookstores, and we'd be there and help support him. And we did the same thing with Sean Williams when he come from Australia, and we'd make sure that this is at Romans, which is a big popular science fiction store in the greater LA area. And we bring people there to help support them. And it was great, and then now they're at the point where, you have to wait in line however long to be able to see them.
Yeah.
But it's like it's part of building your career. So we're going to obviously make sure that as much as possible, we can drive business to your bookstore signing to make it a success, because the bookstore manager is going to remember you all the more.
Yeah.
You got some meat on those bones.
Oh yeah.
So you're shopping your next novel right now?
Yes, I'm currently querying my novel. Yeah, but it will be eventually be my debut novel.
Uh-huh. And what's the genre?
Hard science fiction. Yeah.
Which is your preferable genre as compared to the horror thriller?
Yeah, that's In Living Color was the first of those stories that first story like that I'd written. I've written other things kind of like that since then. I think just because somehow I got it into my head that I can do this.
Yeah. It was a great story. Obviously, the judges really wow, they were amazed. So, what made you flip out of your?
Didn't you win like a couple of dollars, like $10 or something? It was $10, $15, and didn't you win a couple of dollars? Some prize. I remember you won some prize, but I thought it was only like $15 or something. Man, what was it now? I forget. I'm old. You got to remind me of stuff, man.
So, all told, I won $6,000 from.
Wait. So wait. So that means you must have won like a first place and then the big first place, right?
Yep.
So wait, you're like a double first place winner. Oh my God, get the hell out of here!
You didn't even offer to take us out for a Shirley Temple or something.
Hey, look, he didn't pass out on the stage. That's a plus by itself, man. I mean, come on. So you won. So I always love this part because you won and you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh, I don't have a shot in hell. I'm not going to win. And all of a sudden you hear your name. I mean, really, what the hell's going through your head? Really, come on, somebody's messing with me, man.
When they called my name, actually, I was on my phone because I had told everyone before we got over there that night. I said this is a fantastic opportunity for platform building. So the whole time I was there, I'm tweeting out pictures. I'm showing people when I got the first place trophy, I set it down on the table and I took a picture of it. And I was actually fielding comments on Twitter when I heard them call my name again.
That's the way to be.
Yeah.
The whole time I was there, the whole night I was shooting shorts out off the table of all of y'all, of us, of them, of everybody. And and it makes a difference because people see all that stuff. They pay attention to that. They want to see you. They want to see the event. I mean, there was a lot of people listening. There was more people listening to this year's event than even I mean, I knew because of past events we were going to see at least 1 million, 2 million people. I thought, that's going to be a good audience. I had forgotten how big this show and John's show had gotten, though. I mean, we do this every week, so you don't really think about that between the two shows is almost 9 million. Well, actually, now with the new servers, there's over 9 million listeners between the two shows. And this isn't the only show that we get advertised on because I host News on the Flip Side, which last night was 5.6 million people last night. The show coming on after this one's going to have at least 3 or 4. So, I mean, that's all stuff we were advertising. I just didn't expect 10, almost 11 million listeners. And now I think we've climbed up over 600,000 views. So, I mean, watches. Well, some of that I think is after the effect archives, people watching on our Roku archive system, but still,
Yeah.
they're watching it and they're enjoying it. And you know what I think to me is more important than any of this? Not one time I seen one negative comment. And I run a network that talks about a lot of different stuff. So every now and then you see some negative comments. Not one. I'm still floored by that. I can't believe somebody somewhere didn't have something smart ass to say, but everybody who watched it or listened to it enjoyed it. And it amazes me.
This isn't an invitation to anybody.
Yes. You know, people. All I can say is watch it, but you know what? If you want to attend, you got to win, or you got to be an extra special guest. But still, the best way to get there.
As far as Joe goes, there can be only one.
That's right, only one. Buddy. That's it. We ain't playing with that either. Yeah, Jeannie. Actually, Pal Talk is open today. Yes, it is. I promise y'all, and I finally opened it up. It's listed under United Public Radio. Yes, so. We can't see y'all in the chat, but I can see you in the group. And Pal Talk's working on a deal so that we can incorporate it into this group room so people can see your questions. So I don't have to play copy and paste, just because I hate that part.
So one thing, because you're talking about, Joe, about Michael winning the grand prize and stuff. So one of the things I do every year is I just do a basic hatting. You know, like here's some basic common sense rules on acceptance speeches and what works, what doesn't work. And it's mostly for my own satisfaction that I'm able to do this, because sometimes people have the oddest ideas of what's cute. And so
what's not.
I have to assure people, like, this is not cute. This does not work. I speak out of experience. But one thing that I said, okay, 2 of you are going to come up and you're going to be the grand prize winners, and you're going to be convinced that there's no way you could have done it, so you don't prepare anything. And every year, you come up and say, I knew it wasn't going to be me. I wasn't prepared. And then Bafu started it off with, he had his one note: if you win, take the trophy and run before the judges have a chance to change their mind, which was hilarious. It had the whole audience just cracking up. But his line too, which I've had several comments on, was when he said, like, I'll never doubt myself again. I'll never invalidate or do something to myself again. And I was like, that's such an important lesson that he had. And people were like really impressed with that line that he said there. And then came up when once you were done handling your texting and stuff, like once you're off your cell phone and could give us some attention units back on the event, and your name was called, then what happened from there for you?
So I had actually rehearsed my first place speech that morning in my hotel room, and I had jotted down some very brief notes. So like I've found over the years with public speaking that I tend to work best if I have very few notes, and really it's mostly just kind of like to organize things in my mind. You may have noticed I didn't have I had the notes on my phone. I didn't have my phone out when I was on the stage, because like I could see kind of all of that. But I had some basic notes about what I wanted to say in the first place speech, and then just a list of people to thank. And I started thinking about what the grand prize thing was going to be like, and I just thought, like, I just don't be a yutz. And so I had that exact phrase, like that was all I had in my notes. But to be fair, I had actually thought about it, and I had known going in there that night that if I did win the grand prize speech, that then I was going to talk about Cincinnati.
Good, yeah. So that was good. Some of the people that aren't familiar with, that was a movie? The Good Night Cincinnati?
What was that?
That was movie? That was The Good Night Cincinnati.
Oh, no, that was just something I came up with because I wanted to make it clear to everyone back home that for just a moment there, I was speaking directly to them.
Good.
It's always good to have cliff notes, man. I tell people all the time, I got a lot of hosts, and somebody said, I see sometimes when you're doing lectures, you're not reading from anything. I said, no, because mostly I know what I want to say, and I've said it enough times that it's not that big of a deal. But I do keep, for like when we have no-show guests or things like that, I have a book, actually, it's like about this size right here. And in that book is the outline of 3 books that I've always wanted to write. I never did, but there's so much information in there each one's an easy 6, 7, 8 hour show. So I just open it up and just go scan through and say, okay, we're going to start here and talk about this. And before I can even get to the next subject, there's enough engagement from the first that between the Q&A, it's another half hour before you get to the second one. So it makes things that would have been a disaster into something smooth that looks very well rounded, like it was supposed to be that way. It works out real well, though. It really does. I always tell people, you don't have to know every sentence of everything, but you have to have something that triggers whatever that phrase or sentence is you're going to be able to use. It helps to store it for your memory too, because the older you get and the more crap you get stored in your head, the more it takes time to find it. It's like an old hard drive, man. It's like, I know that's in here somewhere. Let me go find it. It reminds me of one of them old movies where the guy's walking down the thing, there's 5 billion files all over the place. But it all of that helps. It really makes a difference. And it does make you come off looking better when you're on stage and you're speaking. People like to hear fluency. They like to see people comfortable. When people start getting awkward and jerky and itchy and using the word every fifth word, people start getting a little irritated. And it's hard. I mean, look, the very first time somebody told me that, I was filming for Discovery. He said, stop that. I'm like, stop what? He said, I said, what are you talking about? So he said, hold on, I'm going to play it back for you. And I'm not kidding you, in like 2 minutes, it was like 15 or 20 times I said it. I was like, Jesus, really? So that was a lesson for me. And it took a little while to break it. And even today, I got to watch myself. I still want to do it even today. But
one thing that comes up, that's the audience, and I get a lot of that people like about this award show compared to other award shows, is that it's not glib. It's not, people are genuinely like, this is the first time they've actually spoken to an audience, and spoken to anybody, let alone spoken in front of a camera. And they are nervous, but you got the nerves, and then you've got the ambition they've been going for however many years to get this, and realization of that, how important it is to them to achieve this. And we're in Hollywood with this event, and so a lot of people there attend other award shows. The front table there was full of actors who wanted to come, and they were just like, this was so cool, because they've been to a lot of these are the guys, they go to Oscars, they go to Emmys, they go to Grammys and stuff like that. And they said, this is so much more genuine, real. Everybody's dressed the same, but now the people aren't like drilled by their publicists. Okay, this is the way you do it. This is how these are your talking points. Don't talk about this. You can talk about that. And they drill them because they got a hired publicist. You don't have that here. So people's stories are so much more, the realization of a dream, of a goal that they've been going at, and to finally they found a group, they found their people.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference. You were talking about that too, like your people.
Yeah. It was, so I'd spent so many years with the writing community on Twitter, which is still the largest and most, I would say, well-established, most well-rounded group that you can find online. But when you're on there, it's all people in all different walks of this whole process. You have people who are very serious, driven, determined, like, I'm going to make this a career. But you also have a lot of people where you see things constantly like, I only managed to write 100 words today. Please clap for me. Or, like, I really wish I could write, but it's so hard to stop just scrolling on Twitter. And when I finally started meeting the other winners of Writers of the Future, the first thought I had was that these are my people. There's no people joking about how, I didn't write anything today, or, like how undetermined or undriven they are. Everyone is hustling. It's all about advancing my career, getting to the next milestone. I want to publish a novel. I want to publish more short stories. I'm getting out there.
Yeah.
And take advantage of the momentum.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to take it. And unfortunately, because it is the media industry, you're only as good as your last novel, your last video, your last whatever, your last even saying online. It's something I try to get across to authors and illustrators as they're developing their talents and developing their social media following. You can use that social media following to make money. You don't have to just have it as just a following. I mean, you can literally use it. I mean, a lot of people on X, especially not X, on Twitter these days, are making a good living just off of 30 or 40,000 followers. So It's amazing to me. And since you're going to be publishing anyway, you might as well take advantage of it. You want to publish so people are seeing your work, what you're up to, how you've been doing. It's amazing to me. And one of the hardest things for me to learn when I first got into the industry was people really want to know about your life. And I was a very private person, and my wife is even more private. So it was rough the first decade or so. But I mean, but you've been through it now, so you'll get used to it, and it's a lot of advantages to it too.
Oh yeah,
you meet a lot of interesting people. Look at John. I mean, you get to meet him. He's a wealth of information. Plus, he's very well connected. If you're an author, I'm telling you what.
Have you had anybody recognize you walking down the street or going into a coffee shop or anything?
Not just yet, but I'm working on that.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Yeah, that's weird, man.
So far, I've handed out copies of the anthology to several booksellers, and 2 of them have already read it and told me that they loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
They mentioned my story.
Well, we usually replay the event later in the year, so don't be surprised if you're somewhere and someone walks up to you and says something. Because I notice when I do TV for people, they don't always tell me when it comes out. And sometimes I'll be in a grocery store talking to somebody, and someone just feels the need to say, "Hey, I seen you the other day." So you'll get used to it, but because stuff gets re-aired, because this is always on YouTube for life, but we like to re-air the event at least twice a year, just to see. And now that the new TV system's kicking in, it'll probably air again close to in December across the entire new television network. So that'll be now. I couldn't tell you what it's going to do. It might do 500,000 people. It might do 5. But still, we're gonna find out.
Yep.
It's interesting. So I just tell you, I like to warn people, because sometimes you'll just be going through your everyday life, and all of a sudden you're standing and getting something to eat, and somebody's like, "Oh, I seen you the other day on this TV show or this podcast," and you're like, "Oh, really?" I hope that's a good thing, right? You liked it, right? And see, then you got a book to sell afterwards. You can say, "Hey, I got my latest novel out, or I got my novelette out, or I'm working on this, I'm working on that." Or if you're doing a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter or something, those are always good lead-ins. And you already know social media is a good way to get all of that rolling. And it's an unfortunate beast sometimes, but it does serve some good purposes. And as long as you don't let your pages get out of control, it can be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, one thing I'm curious of, because again, a lot of people listening to us are writers or want to be writers, and we created that free online writing workshop. Can you tell me about what it was like for you, and any impact or anything you gained from it in particular?
It's been a while since I looked at the online workshop, and honestly, it's just like I have been still slowly processing all of the information that I absorbed from the workshop in Los Angeles. It's weird. It's like everything's kind of like working through on a lag. Like I would literally be sitting around during the day, and suddenly I just kind of start laughing at something that someone said 2 weeks ago. It's like I said on that on my Substack. I said, if you've been to a workshop before, you are still not prepared for what you are about to go through in Los Angeles. I was absolutely blown away by the sheer amount of information. I mean, and it's really cool meeting best-selling authors, yes. But I mean, I can't remember who I was talking to the other night, where I said that the biggest thing that struck me was actually the day that I was sitting in the 4th floor library at Author Services, and I was listening to the editor of Locust Magazine.
Liza Trombi.
Yes. And that was incredible, because I mean, this magazine is the go-to source of information for any and all things in spec fic publishing. And just to be in the same room with that person, it was incredible.
Yeah.
And we try to warn people ahead of time that it's just a lot, and it's just not one thing. It's a lot of different subjects, a lot of different topic matter, a lot of stuff to cross, and it's being presented by successful people, which always helps.
Yeah, it's like in the Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory, you got that golden ticket, and you come in there, and all of a sudden, all this amazing stuff, and you've got like the who's who, you've got editors and publishers and authors and artists, and it really is. It's surreal, the amount of talent that congregates for that 1 week. In
And I actually like it better since they started doing it at Author Services. One, it's more comfortable. Two, it's actually quieter. The hotels, for some reason, the rooms were usually always on the outside of the building or on the edge of the building, so you always got a lot of street noise and stuff. But
and it's also true. Like Tim Powers just made a big stink about saying we should always do it here. We almost went to Cape Kennedy, and because we did it once before back in the 90s. And the judge was saying, yeah, great. And Tim says, no, he wrote this long missive to all judges why it should be done here in Hollywood at Author Services, because what you see here, you see the history of the contest, you see the past winners, what they've gone to do, you see the judges, some of the various places we've been, people associated with it. You see Hubbard too. You see all of his books that he's written. Just realize he was... It's kind of like hard to get. Yeah, he wrote a whole lot. But when you go into the library and you see everything that's in there was his writing, and then you see that one mountain of paper by Mission Earth, and that's the 1,200 pages there, the 1.2 million words they wrote in 9 months. You kind of go like, that's crazy, but you're in the sanctum of writing, of an author. So we're a literary agency, so you see it type of stuff. And he said, you're not going to get this anywhere else. You get this here, and then you can be in this space, which is very much celebrates creativity, celebrates the arts with the writing and all that stuff there. And then he said, then you can have this big event in Hollywood. It's like, you're not going to get this maybe ever again. This type of a black tie gala in Hollywood that rivals, other major events that like the Oscars and those types of events. And he said it's true. And so everybody all of a sudden, I want to do Hollywood. I'm going to do Hollywood. I'm going to do Hollywood. I'm going to Hollywood, because you got all the restaurants around. You've got lots of things you can see. But if we went to Cape Kennedy, there's the hotel we'll be staying at, and there's 1 or 2 restaurants around. So you're stuck with what you got there. And then it's commuting back. It's a whole different thing. And he said, look, you have your workshops in a room, which as soon as your event's over, then they have the craft cheese event happening next, and then they have the bowling ball manufacturers association. So it's nothing special. When you do it here at Author Service, it is very special, and we're able to really everybody can be here and help and work on it. If we go out to another place, we only have a handful of our staff going there, so it's just a way different thing. And besides, I'm able to use my coffee machine.
That's my favorite reason there, my friend, the coffee machine.
That flat white you made me was killer.
Good, yeah.
Not only, and it's free, man, so that's the boot. What's the saying? He used to tell me, he said, you got charged for that coffee? I said, no, man. One of the little guys was like, no, you don't charge for the coffee. You sure? I said, yeah, I've been drinking it for a couple of years for free. Just tell me what you want anyway.
We went through a lot of coffee there. That was good.
Yeah.
It was fun.
A lot of coffee drinkers this year, yeah. There's a lot of good ones. It's
but then you had the realization that when you drink coffee, normally you go to your store and then or whatever, so you have your morning coffee, then it's done. But this one here, the taps never get shut down.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah. If you're a winner who's going to be going next to the workshop next year, listen very carefully. Stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Because I've been a remote worker since the pandemic, I'd forgotten what it was like working in a place that had free unlimited coffee all day.
Yeah, it's and it's good coffee too. We don't do
Absolutely.
Yeah, fortunately, all the companies I worked with always had a coffee machine in the thing. And New Orleans is big on coffee, so.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's big.
Yeah. For me, and when I do this, I drink a lot more coffee. It's like in the college days when I used to help work bartending at the parties and stuff like that. You'd make okay, here's one for you, one for me. Okay, I'll make one for you, one for me. I'll make one for you, one for me, because I'm, and then by the end of the night, I was experiencing a different reality.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know when I'm over at Odd Services, I'll drink 2 or 3 cups while I'm there. But when I'm at the hotel, I'll drink maybe 1 in the morning. And
then you go to your sweet tea.
Yes, then I go to sweet tea after that. Look, it's funny, people. Y'all think I'm messing around. So 8 years ago, I went to LA and I asked for sweet tea, and the guy looked like him. He has like a retard or something. I said, what? I said, iced tea, man. You don't know what iced tea is? Yeah, we got some like I said, no, dude, iced tea. I didn't want nothing with peaches or oranges or anything. I just want some iced tea. And he's like, I said, look, I'm gonna be here for 9 days. I said, I will give you a good tip if you just keep me iced tea when I come down here every day. I guarantee I'll tip you at least $100 when I leave. And he said, well, I don't understand. I said, I'll show you how to make it. I really did. I said, let me explain to how you make it. So after that, it was cool. They had every, and you know what's funny about that? Because I did the same thing at the Lowe's. Neither at the Lowe's or the Roosevelt have I paid for an iced tea yet. Not one time. They don't even charge for it. They always give them for free. I was like, and then I got lucky this year because the lady who manages the downstairs is from New Orleans. And we got to chatting, and then because of two of her one of her bartenders, one of her cooks, was just recently in the city. So, well, we'll just say learning that you can party at 6 a.m. and go have breakfast while you're doing it. They were like, wow, man, it's not like here. I'm like, no, it is. You can drink and eat and do whatever you want 24 hours a day. But I mean, I have a great time. Both hotels are fun. Lowe's is nice. Roosevelt's nice. They're nicer in different ways, but Roosevelt has a little more class to it. Lowe's has a little more convenience to it. And some of this, and Lowe's has coffee in its room, which the Roosevelt didn't. Roosevelt, if you're listening, put some damn coffee in your room, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to go downstairs 6:30 in the morning looking for coffee. I like some damn coffee. Other than that, they're really both nice hotels and they're comfortable hotels. And I find the staff is good at both of them. So, and they like Writers of the Future.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, everybody at Roosevelt, when if you said I'm with Writers of the Future, they instantly like, what can I do for you? How can I help you? What do you need? I said, that guy stole my key over there. Can you go beat him up? So funny. She's like, really? I'm like, no, I'm just teasing. I said, my key's still in my room. That's why I'm down here asking you for a key. But I mean, they're all good people over there. And 25 degrees is the only thing I didn't like is they didn't have my wedge this year. But other than that, and no sweet potato fries.
Yeah, they stopped sweet potato fries too. Yeah,
that's a protest thing. Yeah, I told you, boy. I said, if I come here next year and there's no sweet potato fries, I'm protesting. I'm getting me a little thing going out in front of your restaurant. Where's my sweet potato fries? It's I don't know, and I know when every time we ate there, everybody was eating them. That's what's so weird.
Yeah. I know it's weird how they changed the menu on it. But going back now to your recent win, so briefly describe your story that's in this book.
There it is.
This one just released, and it's been I think it's number 2 still on Amazon's bestseller list. But we were for 2 days number 1, and
we can get it back up there.
Yeah, science fiction fantasy. So first we were the number 1 in hot new releases, but then we got to be on the actual bestseller list, and we were there for a couple of days, which was great. So we're definitely continuing to push and make this happen because it's it's still brand new. We're still in the first week of release. So what I said before when we were last week on this stuff, if anybody gets this, orders it and just sends me like, okay, I ordered the book, I'll send you then the screensaver for that can be either for your laptop or for your pad or for your phone of just the artwork from Ciarello. It's just amazing dragon. If you order it and just, you can either email Joe or email me. I'm jgoodwin@galaxypress.com. If you email me, I'll send you the package that has all the different sizes for the for a computer, desktop, laptop, whichever size pad or whichever size phone you have, so you can have that as a screensaver.
Yeah, Mike Strickland had that on his phone the entire time we were there. That was his background when we were at the workshop.
That's cool. Yeah. So briefly, then, what's your story about?
So my story is called In Living Color, and it's about a man named August who has the ability to touch an image and essentially project himself into it. So he's able to exist within this captured image of a moment in time. So he first uses this to be able to enter impressionist paintings as a way to kind of soothe himself because his abilities extend beyond that. And essentially living in the world has become uncomfortable for him. However, he eventually ends up coming to the attention of the local police department, and they enlist his help analyzing crime scene photographs. So, through his
And
work with the police
then,
department, he ends up being exposed to to what he learns is a telepathic serial killer, and pretty soon he finds himself on the killer's list of targets.
yeah. But what to me is the spookiest thing about that story, um, is the guy comes across as a likable character. It's like you would not suspect at all that he was who he was, the antagonist there. Like, wow, he's just, he'll pop a beer with you and just sip and just shoot the shit and just kind of like, wow. And then he'd go up and he would just do the most amazing things. It's like, wow. That was, to me, that was the part that was the most chilling. And real life, you see that goes down like that. You see somebody like, wow, he looks like a regular guy. He looks like a good person. There's a guy here in LA who was found guilty of murdering his wife. And you look at his picture, he looks like just a cool guy, you know? You find out he could do such a heinous crime. It's just like amazing. So that's the part that was the most chilling of that. So you said you gave you nightmares for a week. So what about it for you was nightmarish?
It was. So the whole idea of a telepathic serial killer obviously is just utterly terrifying.
Yes.
And like as this story goes on, when August is like gradually being pulled into them, like I said, the whole part of the idea here is that his abilities to perceive others' thoughts and feelings just by touching them makes the entire world uncomfortable to him. He can walk into a room and he hears surface thoughts, and so it's like he's constantly hearing whispers from others around him. And on top of that, as he's at the art museum, which is his like one sanctuary in the world, because like when he's there, he mentions that people's thoughts are mostly quiet because everyone is absorbed in the paintings. They're thinking about the art that they're viewing. And so everyone's thoughts tend to be much more tranquil. But while he's there, he perceives this darkness behind him. And he realizes that this is the same darkness that he's been experiencing whenever he enters these crime scene photos from the scenes of these grisly murders. And he's quickly able to put it together and realize that this is the killer who he's been hunting. And there's Nathan's incredible illustration there.
Yeah, because there you see him with his, he's got his glove on right there. His glove's off there, so he's touching that photo. And there's the guy behind him, and then it's just, you see the water lilies there, which is that's what he tries to escape to. But you've got that other guy that's like with his knife in his hand. He's definitely no bueno.
Yeah.
But it's such a well-written story, and it's like it obviously is fantasy. The way it's not science fiction, it's fantasy, so it's dark fantasy. So if you like dark fantasy, there's a very good reason why he was a grand prize winner. And the judges were just amazed with the quality of writing. It's one thing, like Larry Niven made a comment when I interviewed him. He said that back at the beginning, you have one or two good stories that were like standouts and everything else was just garbage. So that's a curmudgeon old man, talking with you. He's like 87 or something like that. But with now, he said, I got these stories to read. I couldn't tell which one was the best. They were all so good. I just put down my thing. I couldn't pick out what was number one and number two. They're just, the stories are all so good. So after 42 years, the contest has grown and the quality of competition continues to like force the top to get higher and higher and higher, so that it's no longer the top 2% and top 1%. It's the top 0.1% type thing that makes it there, that gets through that stuff. But all the more reason too that when you can say that you're an honorable mention, editors will know to take you out of the slush stack and read it, because okay, if you got an honorable mention with Rise of the Future, they know that that's blind judge. So that means that you've got something to you as a writer, and maybe there's something in this story I should check out.
Well,
So
absolutely.
you automatically will get taken out of the slush pile if you can say in your pitch letter that you won honorable mention.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that has something to do with the fact that actually, after I got my first honorable mention, immediately afterwards, actually, the next story that I submitted to Analog ended up being accepted. And incidentally, the story that I ended up, excuse me, it was two later. But the story that I submitted to Analog that will be published in their July-August issue was a story that got a silver honorable mention from Writers of the Future. So just in case anyone's wondering, these guys are way more discerning than most.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Scott Card, when he used to have the Intergalactic Medicine Show, when he used to do that magazine, he would say, like, he would jokingly say, yeah, so um, all the other magazines get the Rise of Future rejects. So so anybody that, if you didn't get picked by Rise of Future, then you'll end up on these other magazines. Because Rise of Future, he's long held that perception that Rise of Future is the top tier of speculative fiction, new writers that need to really have your attention paid to them.
Yeah, it's to anyone who's listening right now who's gotten an honorable mention or silver honorable mention in the contest so far this year, just so you know, your story might not have been, as it's currently written, good enough to qualify for one of the top 3 places in Writers of the Future. That does not mean that it's not good.
Yeah,
Send it somewhere, submit it anywhere you can.
yeah. Is there any particular advice that you got from the essays from L. Ron Hubbard that are standout for you?
Nothing I can think of the top of my head. Although I will say this, that something that learning about Mr. Hubbard, because I did not know much about his life and his work really until all of this. Something that felt kind of reaffirming for me was that I think that he agreed with something I've kept on telling people, which is it pays to be prolific. Write constantly, write about anything. Because the more that you write, sooner or later you end up with a numbers game on your side. I mean, like what I've been telling people is that you keep on writing things, and that's the way that you get better. Every story that you write will advance you at least somewhat. But besides that, the more stories that you write and the more diverse you try to make your writing, the more likely you are to find one that ends up being a winner. I mean, this
Yeah,
story in Living Color was unlike anything I had ever written before. It's changed my writing very much since then. But up until this point, I'd never written anything like this before in my life. Turns out, apparently, I have a knack for it.
yeah.
And
Which is
Miss,
you're going to find that you're going to be able to move also into other genres, like L. Ron Hubbard wrote mystery, adventure, science fiction, fantasy, western, romance. He wrote across all the different genres, and one of the essays that he wrote in there was Manuscript Factory, and
yeah,
in that he talks about your machine. You're a factory as an author, and he went through and analyzed all the different genres he wrote in, how much he made for each one versus how much he wrote, and he worked out which genres for him was the best ROI, return on his investment. And but he said, I wrote all these and I sold everywhere, but some did better than others, so
yeah,
it was interesting. He constantly did his analysis, and as the markets changed, he would go with it and just change. But he at the end, he was like science fiction fantasy, and he had his, obviously part of that what became known as the golden age. And he said, it's at
yeah,
that time, and there was no golden age because that's the age that they were in. It was just a
yeah,
lot of heavy duty creativity happening in this front.
yeah,
And that it was something that was, that now is known as the golden age of science fiction, but then it was just a lot of, creativity.
yeah. I mean, and he got in on the ground floor, and he was writing
Yeah.
science fiction in the 30s and 40s. And I would argue, and I started out my introduction to sci-fi literature was reading like the greats from the golden age of science fiction. They're talking like
Yeah.
Isaac Asimov, Arthur C. Clarke, Frank Herbert, and all of them. They came along several decades afterwards.
Exactly. They were the next generation.
Yep.
Yeah.
They built upon his success, and I've
Yeah.
told people a lot that as science fiction writers, just as is the case with scientists, we succeed by standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah. And you talked, various interviews from the creators of Star Trek and Star Wars. They said we totally ripped off from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know. Oh, so Jody just texted. She's waiting in the.
She's in the green room.
Yeah.
Back
So anyway, yeah. So it's
interesting
that one famous scene in Star Wars, the cantina scene.
Yeah.
Where Luke Skywalker hires Han Solo, and there's the weird animals playing them. That's almost word for word out of The Kingslayer by Orrin Hubbard. That whole scene. It's like, wow. When I read that and I saw it in the movie, I'm like, that's fascinating. And he said, yeah, I got so much stuff out of Pulp Fiction.
I can't remember who it was. There was a writer I read once who'd said when he was asked what the secret to his success was, he said, "I steal from the greats."
Yeah. Yeah, it's a definite thing in that. So should I send
I sent her one. She give her a second. She hasn't written back, but she should have it by now.
Okay, good. So anyway, with you read the one story that we sent around everybody that's Tim's favorite story of Hubbard is called Fear.
Yeah.
So what was your take on that?
It really it harkened back to an earlier, and I would say as a writer, a rosier time for all of us. Because the thing that really amazed me about that story was I remember just everywhere I read in that story, it was like I could perfectly picture everything. I could see exactly what was going on around them. There were no blanks to fill in. There was no matter of like, me having to think of like, okay, well, have I been in a room like this before? All right, well, what did the chair look like? What did the walls look like? Like, what color was everything? Was it day? Was it night? He was able to cover all of that. And the thing is that in today's literature, it's a lost art. Nobody does that anymore because we have film, because we have television, and so the attitude with modern literature is if you're able to describe things very, very well, I think that it's something that people don't give you enough credit for, because it's just like, well, if you're going to do that, why don't you just watch a movie?
Yeah, which is interesting because go ahead.
Oh, it's just this was clearly written at a time when storytellers were still responsible for painting the picture that exists in a person's mind.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about letting you know how the characters feel. It was about letting you know exactly what's happening.
Yeah, and that's when we've had the various actors that do these, or we have those live theater shows that you saw one of them. We have them.
Yeah.
They say how easy it is to visualize what it is that he was saying, because there's no need to change dialogue or anything like that, because it was so accurate it's so easy to be able to do that. And then illustrators from the original judges from the Illustrators of Future Contests, they loved illustrating his work because it was so easy to visualize and turn into a painting. But with that said, welcome, Jody.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Mike.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you. It's been so long, about a month.
It feels, this past couple of weeks, it feels like years.
I know what you mean.
But Mike has been really not letting any grass grow under his feet on this thing here. He's been going around. He's learned how the advantage of going to bookstores, not emailing them, but going to bookstore to bookstore to bookstore and meeting the science fiction, whoever in charge of the collection I see or whatever type thing, and just how much more they appreciate it. And he's setting up multiple events.
Mm-hmm. Good idea. Yeah, that's the best way. Making a personal connection will always do you better.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've been taking my show on the road.
You want my money, shake my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of them things.
Yep.
Miss Jody, how you been? And get caught up in some rest now. You ready?
Rest? No. It's been nothing but nonstop. So
I was gonna say rest is for the dead, but Eventually one day we'll all get the rest. So what's next for you? Where you headed next? You just kind of trying to get some peace, or?
Except that when I got home, I had to get 2 novellas and out and working on a book and send in 2 proposals. So it's been nothing but run since I got home too.
The life of a professional
I
author.
know, it's
Yeah.
insane.
Yep.
You know, they
Mike,
get
Mike is totally looking forward to being in that position.
God help me. Yeah, actually, I am looking forward to that.
Well, I expect that you will. So,
I'm going to work at it. I'm going to fight my brains out to get there.
good.
Yeah. So
No.
now we're going to see you next, Jody, at Dragon Con.
Right.
And then are you going to be there, Mike, as well?
Yes, I am.
Very good. Great.
Yep.
Great. It's fun.
Yeah, we were able to get you as you'll get a pro badge there. All the winners every year are entitled to a pro badge from the convention, so you'll get in there. And
Excellent.
yeah,
I've never heard of this Dragon Con. What is this? Some kind of weird place?
That's what they call it. 70,000 geeky people enjoying themselves for a week.
That's not the place last time I went. I lost 10 pounds. Oh my
Up and down, yeah.
yes, man. I will tell you this, ladies, if you get to go, I did discover that Uber will pick you up by your phone anywhere. So you can be standing on the side of the street and able to stop and get you. I was like, get out of here. This works for me.
Mm-hmm.
After going up and down them hills a few times, you're like, where's the Uber at again? Let me find it. It's I always have a good time. Plus, anytime you're in a hotel, I tell people, if you're going to go and if you're not presenting and you're just going to visit, man, you need to start walking about 3 months before you go.
Absolutely.
Get yourself in shape and get ready for it. And remember,
it's amazing. Yeah, the hills there in downtown Atlanta.
Remember,
But
Atlanta
it's
can
so
be
much fun,
cool.
though. It is so much fun.
Being it's the first week of September, it can be chilly or it can be smoking hot. Just be prepared for either one.
And it can be clear skies or it can be like pouring rain.
It's the deep south. It loves its rain.
Oh man.
It's a great convention though, guys, girls. If you go, they put on a great show. I've been 4 or 5 times now, 4 times I think, and every time I'm
40th year.
yeah, it's good. And each year it just seems to get better, and it survived COVID. I mean, it went,
Oh yeah.
a lot of things didn't make it. I noticed a lot of different conventions and conferences went the way of the dodo bird. COVID.
I mean, we even had a con online during COVID.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Wow.
As far as I know, there wasn't nothing.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause when I met John and them, it was their year back. They had that double year or so, which was insanity for them. It's crazy enough when there's just one set of winners, much less two. Lord have mercy. I don't even know how they did it. But it's always a lot of fun. So you got any particular? I mean, I know you like Dragon Con. You got any other ones you like going to or hanging out? Yeah. This Mike guy over here, we're not worried about this guy.
That's always a lot of fun. That's in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Used to be 4th of July weekend, but it's end of June, early July. And
That's cool.
Just came back from in March, before the Writers of the Future event. We go up to GaryCon, which is a celebration of Gary Gygax's work, because I've been playing D&D since I was 19. So
that's cool.
First Gen Con I went to back when they were in Lake Geneva had 6 women there, and I was one of only 3 not named Gygax.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. When you first get started in all of this, it's.
As a matter of fact, when I was at GaryCon, which is run by Gary's second son, I ran into Heidi Gygax, who is designing games, just like her dad. And I haven't seen her in a really long time. So that was nice. Nice to catch up.
Yes, it's nice being able to go to the different conferences and know people at different cons and know people. It's also nice that know what you're going to be talking about when you get there, who you're going to be talking to, and every now and then it's just nice to go as a guest and not as a speaker. It's for some reason it don't work that way out often, but still it is nice. I mean, because it's like Writers of the Future is a working gig. I mean, it's not all work, but there's a lot involved.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the other ones I go to are they're half work, half fun. As long as somebody knows how to make a whiskey sour, I'm good. I haven't had one in like 3 years now, man. I'm craving one now. I haven't had anything alcohol in 3 years. So I get on those sprees where I just don't drink. I don't know what that is, and then I do, and sometimes I don't. I was thinking about one year. I just couldn't get around to getting my hands on one. I think last time I ordered one at the Roosevelt, it was $50. I decided I was going to stay away from them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
So I'm curious now, Jody. So you've been a judge. We originally met at Dragon Con when I invited you to become a judge, and which was way cool on that. So what is about Writers of the Future that you like, that you've became a judge and then you agreed to become the coordinating judge?
Well, one of the things that surprised me when I started asking around about what it was like being a judge, I discovered that most of my friends were already judges. And judges, people we lost. And so I joined the cool kids. We have a lot of people who are peers and people that I have admired for many years. So it's been a wonderful experience of getting to know people. And I teach the writers workshop at Dragon Con, 2-day writers workshop, for up to 20 students. I've checked the Google Sheets yesterday and I've already got 10 students. So moving right along.
Yeah.
That helps give back to the community. And that's another thing that I like about the Writers of the Future, is encouraging really amazingly talented writers who would not otherwise have quite as big a show window for them.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was chatting with Nancy Kress when she was here.
Yeah.
And she said what she loves obviously, helping to teach and for her paying it forward. But she also, this is an opportunity, she's with her peers and she gets, I don't see these people. So like once a year I can have a chance to, to see her peers and just be able to chat. And she said it's just so lovely being able to do that too.
It really
Working with the winners as well as people that she doesn't otherwise see. And, it's funny because we've got Katherine Kurtz. This has become like her favorite event. She's just like, I got to come every year, even though she needs, assistance usually on moving around. She just loves it and just love talking and presenting and just being part of the community. It's like, and I love your Durini series. So it's great to have her there able to, participate, but that's really good getting that from all the various judges I've talked to as well.
Yeah, we love the opportunity. My husband comes with me, of course, Bill. And we see people that we've known for years, getting to catch up with Catherine again, very good friends, getting to have breakfast with Nancy, which is about all we can usually manage because we all have people we need to see.
Yeah.
And
well, you're the ones that introduced me to Catherine.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's marvelous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this Bill guy is pretty cool too. I like this guy. So just don't tell him that though.
Not a word.
We don't want to get no full heads and nothing.
You can't hear me right now.
If you get on all of us. Oh no, I was actually talking about Jody's husband. He's a really nice guy. Yeah, he's one of my favorite people to pick on when I get to see him. We don't always get to see each other. Everybody's the thing when you're here at Rise of the Future, we see each other, but we don't always see each other because everybody's always got something going on. It's your attention's being sought from somebody all the time. And poor Jody, I mean, she's not just one of the people representing. She's a coordinating judge, and she's familiar with everybody, really well. So it's just a lot. I mean, I know, there's no reason to lie about it. I mean, everybody there is there. It's going to be busy, but she's just one of the ones that's really, really busy. I run and said, Bill, where's Jody? She's doing something.
They do keep me running, but I also want to get to know the people whose manuscripts I got to see. And I've had some really interesting interactions. People appreciate or don't appreciate the edits, but it has to be done. It's a necessary experience for a young writer.
Yeah.
And I say young in terms of Not
Experience.
experienced, yes, because
Yeah.
2 years ago, the grand prize winner is a year older than I am.
Yes. It gets confusing.
Which is one thing that's good about the contest too. That really does level the playing field, and it's open to everybody. It's like it really is blind judged.
Yeah,
In
I
the-
always have to correct myself.
In the time I've been here, we've had a 15-year-old winner, and we had how old was Dave?
Somebody was 70, right? Or 69, 70. I know it's been like from one end to the other end since I've been here.
Right.
So it's
So they're marvelously talented. Talent knows no age.
yeah, it's true.
And we had winners from 8 countries this year, which is very nice.
Yes.
It was actually 9, and then the illustrator winner had to go back home to Venezuela. So he had to like recuse himself. So went from 9 countries to 8 countries, but it was unfortunate. But anyway, they had
a lot going on
issues there. So now, Michael, so as a recent attendee of the workshop, what were some of, like, for you, not like the most, but what were some of the stand-up moments for you? Like, because I know you had, due to various things happening, you arrived on Sunday night.
Yes, I did. Yep.
So
And yeah, it was, the whole thing was just nonstop. Like all of us who attended the workshop, like we're all writers, and so we all we try to find ways to describe things, and we couldn't come up with anything better than drinking from the fire hose. We kept on referring to it. That's it. Like, I think all of us used that phrase at least once. You're receiving so much information from so many people, and it was just highlights for me. It's difficult to enumerate them all. Nancy Kress was without a doubt one of the standouts, because she was so methodical. It was just kind of like just running down bullet points, like boom, boom, boom. Like, to be a successful author, do this, do this, do this, do this. Yeah. Jody and Tim were phenomenal. They were a fantastic team. And
you missed out the first day and a half of their routine that they go through, just walking through all the different points there, which is, fortunately, you did the online writing workshop too, where what gives you at least some of the groundwork for what they covered. Although what they then cover is the next level up above that, but at least that gives you the basis of, when you finish online workshop, the last drill is to write and submit a story to the contest. So it kind of sets you up for the 24-hour story with what they're doing as well, but anyway, yeah. So one thing that I really like about the contest or about the workshop is, when you go to a workshop, normally you've got an author or maybe 2 authors. So you've got a channel or 2 channels that you follow on My Process on Writing. Here, you're going to have 20 different authors, all successful, giving you, this is what I do, this is what I do. Yeah. And sometimes when you get like a Jody and a Tim talking about going public with your writing, attending conventions and stuff like that, Jody, like, you need to go there, you do this. And Tim kind of goes, well, I don't think you need to do that. You just, that's your publisher's job. It's like, it's funny just how people get the idea, like, you kind of work with what works for you yourself, and you're given all these different tools. And sometimes a tool you have right now works, but then 5 years from now, when you've got a couple novels out, you're like, oh, that's what Jody meant when she said blah, blah, blah. So that's where copious notes comes in handy, and referring back to it, and then things all of a sudden bubble up.
I was very grateful for the pen and tablet that you gave us all on that first day, because I gave that thing a workout. I think I used about half of that over the course of the whole thing. I definitely took more notes as the day went on, as you kind of start getting overloaded. But it was it's fantastic having so many different diverse perspectives, and it's also fantastic not having to sit there at any moment, as you would in most other workshops, and ask yourself, why should I listen to this person? They haven't done any more than I have. Like, everyone who spoke to us, their resume spoke for itself.
Yeah.
Everybody has a very interesting perspective. And perhaps one of the most important things you learned is, what works for you may not be the thing that works for any of the rest of us, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But also, we wanted to stress that it's your career. You get to make these choices, but here are some perspectives that we want to give you. We want to make sure that you understand that you earned the right to be there. And we want to say you did an excellent job. We want to give you all the perspective we possibly can.
Which is important.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And Tim and I do disagree on a lot of things, but in an extremely friendly way.
Yeah. But it's very healthy, and it's really good to provide that perspective for the writers when they all of a sudden come to grips with the fact, like, wait a minute.
It's one of my
There isn't
favorite
like a
things.
magic formula other than you have to write. Everybody agrees that a writer writes, but beyond that, you get all types of directions.
It's amazing how important it is to give writers that advice that to improve as a writer, you have to write. It sounds so self-explanatory, and yet I've met so many writers where like the one thing that more than anything else they don't want to do is write something after having just written a story. Like, well, I wrote this thing. Isn't this enough? No, and it's never going to be enough. There always has to be a next story.
Oh, you take a break in between. That's absolutely fine.
Give yourself some time, but yeah, I mean, you have to keep going again. I mean, I've met writers on Twitter where it seems like they're on hiatus more often than they're actually writing.
That's very true.
Now, Jody, you sometimes have multiple projects going simultaneously, or at least it seems like you have.
I do.
So how does that work? Because other authors I can only do one book at a time. You know, they're like very, adamant about, no, it's boom, and then I'm done. Then I'll start the next one, then boom. I think Tim is like that.
Mm-hmm. It works for him. I happen to be fortunate that when I work on two different things, the voices do not get confused in my mind. So I can't say that works for everybody. I can edit as I go. I can't say that works for everybody. Dean Wesley Smith and I both do that. We don't advise it for people who are just starting out, because if you distract yourself, if you break that flow, that can make you lose things that you don't want to lose.
Yeah.
That fresh idea, you get it down when you can. And what works for you in the end is what makes you successful, is the right way. It's always the right way.
Yep.
So, Mike, are you able to do more than one book at a time or one story at a time? Or are you like?
It depends on how you look at it. So I have different projects.
Well, how do you look at
it? So I divide my year. Like I plan out my writing like over the course of a year. And so essentially I have certain periods that I focus on short fiction. I actually refer to those as short fiction breaks, because for me, I find short fiction liberating, because it's like with short fiction, it's all just discovery writing. I sit down with a blank page and I just start writing the first thing that comes to mind. And I like it because it takes me generally about a week to finish a short piece. And after that, that's done. I'm finished with this. I set it aside, leave it alone for editing. But in the meantime, I move on and now I'm doing something new. So over the course of a month, I'll churn out between 3 and 5 stories, because not everything that I start ends up being something that I decide that I can write or want to write. With novels, on the other hand, that takes a lot more time. And so I reserve my novel writing generally for fall. So I write my novels only around like the last like 3 or 4 months out of the year. I do that incidentally because there have actually been studies that have shown that your brain is at its highest cognitive function right around autumn. So the way I look at it is like, I want to make sure that I make the most out of that time.
That's good. For me, it's actually after the turn of the year, right after New Year's is my most productive time. So everybody is different, but I didn't know that there was a study.
I tend to do a lot of short fiction after right around the turn of the year, but the main reason for that for me is because I'm still querying. So with all the queries going on and everything else, I find that my ability to focus on actual writing is limited.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now we're starting another quarter. We're reading stories for the next group to come along, and
we're in Q3 right now, quarter 3 of year 43. That's just, to me, that's crazy, because I've been involved since year 2, and that's just like, that's a lot of years. But it's, for me, what's amazing is the number of incredible friends I've made over the years. And, you know, judges that are no longer with us, winners that have become judges, those judges no longer with us. But then the winners that go on to have successful careers, and I'm still in touch with it now because I've got the podcast, I'm able to have them on as guests and just maintain that relationship. It's just, it's such a wonderful thing to share creativity. You know, even though I'm not myself an author, I do what I do, and I like to celebrate, you know, and help using the relationships that I've got to help forward other careers. So it's really a lot of fun. And then just, you know, the friendships I've made at Dragon Con, at FanX Salt Lake, not so much at Comic Con San Diego. It's that one there is just because it's close. Yeah, they basically became more and more like Hollywood, and that's not my thing so much. But I'm so reluctant to give up my spot because we're in the prime space on the power aisle there that we know if we give it up, then we're back in the waiting list, goes back however many months or years to get back in there. So we don't do that. But our relationship with Dragon Con is just awesome. It's so good working with Pat and his family and Tracy working there. And then obviously you and Bill and several others that are just the regulars there. And then we became great friends with Dan Farr, who owns FanX Salt Lake, and he owns, I think, 5 or 6 different conventions. So it's just, you know, it's just a lot of fun. You can make, there really are a lot of good people, and it gives you the ability to celebrate goodness in people, which I really like to do. And one thing that's really good too, also with Writers of Future and Illustrators of Future and the judges of these conventions, at least the way I treat them, it's straight about celebrating science fiction, fantasy, the arts. And it's not a political thing. It's not a religious thing. It's just straight, you know, I love and respect people based upon their creativity. You know, I'm not even concerned with their political stances. That's not my thing. You know, I want to celebrate the arts and how important that is to do. So that's one thing that's really good too about the contest, I think.
The event can be overwhelming. And what I told the group is the same thing I tell them every year is you may not absorb it all now, but it'll come back to you. Things will start to say, oh yeah, I heard about that from Steve Sterling or Nancy Kress or Nina Hoffman. Yeah. Everybody has their input to give you. Yeah. And it may not mean anything for a very long time, and then it'll come back on your mind and say, oh, wait, I heard about that.
Yeah.
And we learn, sitting in the back of the room, the other judges who come in and the other first readers like Carrie English and Leah Ning, we all sit and listen to each other. Nancy, of course, as you said, is a wonderful speaker. She's so organized. She had Tao's Toolbox workshop for so many years. Unfortunately, she's stopping that. But there are many people who have great perspective that more than worth listening to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we have Athena. Yep.
Aw.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to mute mine because she sounds like a little potbelly pig when she's on my lap. So it's we got up there. She's all right, Mom. I'm just. Hey, look, that's how pets are. When I had cats, they thought my keyboard was something to lay on.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, look, Daddy, what's this? You're always touching this. Let me see.
You're petting the keyboard. Why aren't you petting me?
That's right. I just had Lola on my lap. She's my little chihuahua, but what she does is just gets up here and goes to sleep. She goes from feeling like 5 pounds to 50 pounds in a matter of minutes. Like, all right.
A lady called Robin Wood, a little tiny book. It's called The Theory of Cat Gravity. And it will explain to you how the cat becomes so heavy that you can't pick it up off, say, your lap. Definitely keyboards.
So we lost the last couple sentences there, Jody. If you remember.
I'm sorry. There's a Robin Wood who illustrated the book People of Pern, Anne McCaffrey's World. She did a tiny illustrated book called The Theory of Cat Gravity, which I recommend reading because it explains how cats become so heavy when you want to get them off your lap, for example.
Yes.
Did weight all of a sudden.
Yep, they do.
They're the master of gravity, people. Y'all just don't know it.
Mhm.
They got us all fooled.
I like to advise some of the winners to go to at least local conventions so you can talk to the people who love the things you do, who read the books you read. And I find it incredibly refreshing, even though I'm an introvert, getting that energy so that I can go back and work again is to have sort of a refill of energy from them. And different perspectives, get to know people, not just writers, but also readers, fans. Maybe they don't read what I write, but they're still enthusiastic about that. And that's very, very fulfilling, is to be around people who are enthusiastic.
Yeah, that's one thing too. I think you can maybe more about this, Michael, is just for the first time when these winners come out here, they're in a group of like-minded creatives. So what was it like for you?
I think I actually told you the morning after the award show that like, one of the best things about this was that this was the first time in all of these years where I was able to just be a writer. I spent an entire week as a writer. I wasn't, an engineer and also a writer. I wasn't, like a partner and a father and a homeowner. And then at night I was a writer. I was a writer all day. And I was surrounded by people who, as I put it in some of my blog posts, who spoke my language. And what was amazing to me was like we were meeting each other for the first time. And obviously when you're first meeting someone, you want to you end up talking about their lives and about your life. But almost all the conversation, day and night, was all about writing. Every moment that we spent together, and we spent almost all of our time together, it was all talking about the craft of writing, the business of writing, being an author, our favorite sci-fi books and movies. It was fantastic.
Well, you are now your own cadre. The 12 of you belong together now. And that's an incredibly wonderful perspective because only you know what you've been through, the 12 of you. So you're 42.
Yep.
You may join the Discord, you may participate in other events, you may get to know other writers, but you know each other best.
And that's been one of the pluses of the internet too, that you can actually do this and maintain it. Because some of the winners from way back in the first decade, there was no internet, and so, they maintain connections by conventions and sometimes by letters or by phone. But now that you've got Substack and you've got social groups and stuff like that, you can constantly maintain a relationship. You'll be able to do so. Since we have the internet, people have been friends since then. They maintain their relationships.
Oh yeah, since the workshop, actually, all of us, the 12 of us, we've remained in contact. We've stayed. Yeah, we actually have our own Discord now. We're committed to like we are going to be the group. Like we're going to be the volume where all of us are going to hit it big, and we're continuing to exchange information, lift one another up. We've been talking about book signings, conventions. Like we're committed to sticking together,
which is good. That's important. But you've also got behind the scenes. You got us here totally willing, and the judge is totally willing to support however they can as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then you get the crossover winners who like to meet all the new winners and stuff.
Yep.
I mean, you see a lot of formal winners that Writers of the Future show up and stuff. So they're all hanging around. You get to meet them as well. See how they're doing, who's doing what and how they're doing. Everybody's always got a new book when they show up, which is always interesting. Jimmy, no. Audio books. Sending me a paper book is a waste of time. I have like this much time to read these days. I don't want to promise somebody I'm going to read something, unless I'm going to actually read it. Send audio book. No, I got plenty of time to listen to when I'm doing station business. I can listen. Matter of fact, I was thinking about Jody the other day because she still got, from all the Writers of the Future, she still got the #1 video on the network. And I was like, what the hell were we talking about? It's and I think in the beginning we were talking about your career and how you got there, and I think we talked a little bit about Anne McCaffrey for a while, and then we talked about Writers of the Future for a while and how you got to be the judge there and stuff. It's a good comment. No, they're still available, Johnny. Yeah, you can find them on Rumble, YouTube, X, Twitter, Facebook. Well, I don't know about Facebook anymore. Facebook's telling me they're taking everything down every month now. So, but everybody else, it's still there, so you can go visit. And if you can't find it, write to me. I'll tell you right where it's at. Get it now before it becomes a members thing. Yeah, you never know when I get crazy and switch stuff over to members only. So you better listen while you can. It's
Speaking of listening, the audiobook also just came out, and that debuted also. That hit the bestseller list with Audible in the first several days that it was out. And I did last night. I uploaded a podcast interview. I interviewed 6 of the actors that recorded the audiobook yesterday morning, and by last night the podcast was up. And that was a lot of fun, talking about what it was like for them to record the different stories and how much they loved doing it. I mean, Stefan Rudnicki, who's the overall producer of it, he was also one of the presenters at the award ceremony. He's won 2 Grammy Awards producing audiobooks, and just had a grand time doing that. But what was really good about the audiobook, for those of you who like listening to it, there's a story by Dorothy de Kock called Thickly that takes place in South Africa. So we had someone with a South African voice record that one. We had somebody with Sean, who's from the UK, record his story in UK English with that British accent. And then we had the Thomas Slee with his story. Was he the dinosaur one? He's the one in Australia. So there was an Australian accent. So we also had the accents.
Tom was Form 14. That was Form 14B. That was Tom, and it was
So there was
Sean was the Triceratops effect.
Okay, good, yeah. And then we also had
Delightful.
Yeah, and then we also had the actor or the actress that recorded Brenda's story, which was Canary.
Very delightful.
With that accent from the South. So it really adds a lot more depth to a story when you can actually have the actor perform it in the voice that the story is written in, which makes just a world of difference. So I'm really looking forward to starting to see now the reviews starting to come in for the audiobook as people listen to it and then start posting their reviews on it. By the way, if you've read the book or listened to the audiobook, do share your review on Amazon or on Goodreads or on Audible, so that other people can see what makes it really good for them, so that they can see like, oh wow, I like that kind of story. So it really does make a difference. And the Amazon values reviews, and so if you do base reviews, it'll help to like get it out to other similar type people. So please share your reviews if you have gotten the book and read it. I got let's see if I still have it here somewhere.
Sorry, I'm trying to get some Olympic shirts to give away on the station. Some friends of mine are running into some marathon in Miami, and they got these really cool Olympic shirts. I'm like, I want some, Cindy. So I can't help it. People are like a 5-year-old sometimes. What can I say? I'm going to try to get some of the ones from LA coming up too. So I like to give stuff like that away.
Yeah, we just recently got a great review from Tangent and Dave Truesdale. So I sent him a copy of one of the ones that everybody signed. I sent that to him because he's been so good to the contest for so many years. So I sent him a signed copy. And he wrote to me back last night. He's so excited to be getting that because he told everybody out of his review staff, watch this event. He said I can't wait to receive my special copy of this year's Rise of the Future. Thank you very much for doing it. I watched the event on my laptop and it was magnificent. I reminded my review staff to watch it, and I hope they did. It's produced and downright inspiring, and I'll let you know when it arrives. So it was really good, just that. And then we got a great review from Library Journal just came in, which was really nice because that's for libraries, which is a huge market. And that's one thing you should check out too, Michael, is whatever your major libraries are there, go introduce yourself because they always have programs. And we recently attended the PLA, the Public Library Association Conference. And public libraries try to provide content and activities for their local public that don't have money, but they want to do that stuff. So if you go there and do a writer's workshop, or here's a thing that you can help on writers, they will absolutely, welcome you in, and then they'll order in copies of Writers of the Future Volume 42, and you can do a little lesson or workshop to aspiring writers, because they all have these writing groups and stuff. That's something you can definitely do.
I'm going to have to look into that in particular. I have actually already emailed the Cincinnati Public Library. It turns out that they have a special email account that you contact to suggest a purchase. And they said that ideally that they want you to include reviews and some information on why they should purchase it. So I mentioned that Cincinnatian happened to win the grand prize, and I actually included the review from the Library Journal that you folks were kind enough to send out to us. So that was fantastic. I was able to put that right up there. So I haven't heard back from them yet, but I'll have to talk to them about a workshop. I am actually probably 2 weeks from Thursday, I should be speaking actually at a local bookstore here to a group of aspiring genre fic writers.
Good. And definitely make sure you let us know all these different things you're doing. So again, so we can flank it with our stuff. We can do social posts. We can create images and stuff like that, as well as write to people that we know that do it. But you can also, if you can check, you can go to their website and just see whoever's in charge of events, and actually, again, shake their hand, go see them, and so they can put an actual body to a face to a name, and that's what you want to be able to do, so they can just see that it's a good investment on their part, because they're taking a chance. So when you can show them, here's media I've been in, here's a review I've got on my story, here's the stuff, then it makes it easy for them to want to sanction doing something with you.
Yep. Oh yeah. It's amazing how much of a difference just a smile and a handshake seems to make.
For sure.
And you can bring in your 2 big hunks of lucite as well and say, I won these based on this story. Wouldn't you like to have this book in your library?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. I hadn't even thought about bringing those to a workshop at a library. So I know that
definitely take them to the book signing. Definitely take them there.
Yep.
Yes.
So the signing on the 23rd, actually, Joy showed me the table that they use for signings. And in fact, apparently every author who has been at Joy and Matt's has actually used a Sharpie to autograph the table before they leave.
Great.
So,
I love that.
yep, I'm going to be doing that. And Nathan, my illustrator, he's actually going to be there with me.
That is so cool.
You mean the man that you were trying to bludgeon to death with your trophy?
Yep, we work things out.
They're acting out their story.
Sure. No, that was. I love the fact that at the signing line at your very first book signing, which is of course following the event when you're named the grand prize winner, putting the illustrators with the writers is meaningful, and it helps. I think the people who are buying the book to see the image along with meeting the writer, because we lost Joe.
Uh-oh.
You'll be back. You'll be back.
I'll be Beethoven. You'll be back.
Yes.
You have people can't read the story right there, but the images speak to people. It provides an image in their minds, and it says something important to them. And your illustration is so gorgeous.
Oh,
it really
is
fantastic.
Yeah,
What did you think of the art in the book this year, Jody?
Love it. I really love it. I did not expect the grand prize winner to be the one that it was, but I can completely understand it. I love it. I think it's so cute. And
it's very distinctive.
Again, they all nailed it. They all got exactly the kind of image that I was hoping would be there for the writers. Because I don't see them until the moment that everyone else does. We all walk in together. Me and the guys. We go in, we see them, and I've also said before that the great reveal, when you see your illustration for the first time, is one of my favorite parts of the whole week, because everybody identifies their picture the second they see it. It's a split second, and they know. you know, and that's so beautiful.
we were all so scared when we were going in there because we were talking amongst ourselves like, oh, I don't want to be the one who goes in there and we can't find our our art. And then our illustrators over on the corner like, oh God, I screwed up.
No one ever is. No one ever.
No.
They all go. Some people get very contemplative. Some people get hysterically joyful and jump up and down. And some people just immediately bond with the writers and the illustrators. And we had to break up one conversation because it was getting towards like 11 p.m. or something. It was a night introduction, and the two of them we had to go to bed. Go to bed. You can talk tomorrow.
Yes. So, Mike, what was it like for yourself when you walked into the room to on just the backstory? So we have a thing called the art reveal, and that's where the artists and writers meet each other for the first time. So the conferences, the illustrator conferences on the first floor, the writer conferences on the fourth floor. And so what we do is we break a few minutes early from the illustrator workshop there, and we put up the easels and we put the art on the easels and make a big semicircle. And then the illustrators are put around the side of the room, and then we open the doors and the writers come walking in, and they have to go around and they pick their art and they stand by it. As soon as they stand by their art, then the illustrator comes up and introduces themselves. So it's a very special moment, and it's so touching that Mike had to leave because he couldn't handle the emotion that he felt about this whole thing. But it's a very emotional moment when they meet each other for the first time and they see their art, and then it's interesting where they have wow, how they get a perception of what. Yeah, here we go. So Jody's showing some of the pictures of what it's like when these guys come in and look around their room there to find their art. And it's a thing where the writer goes like, wow, you got it perfectly. Your image of what this was is so much better than what I had. Or for me, it was like this general thing, but you got it exactly right. Or like what Mike was saying on his art, like the protagonist, he had a glove on his hand, and the other hand as he was touching the thing, like when people then start talking to the illustrator, you did this and this, and I totally figured out what you did there. That's the perfect scene you picked on it. So,
yeah.
So I was subbing for you there, Michael. So now it's your turn to take over.
Yeah, it was obviously the illustration is just jaw-dropping because of the way that it's composed. But what amazed me was, like as Nathan was leading me through all of the really deep, like intricate details he put into this, I thought, it was one of those like blink and you miss it kind of things. There's so many tiny little details that I think would be very easy to miss unless someone has actually read the story. And I was impressed with his attention to detail, with how carefully he read the story and how perfectly he translated it.
He really did. It was just beautiful. And he is so thoughtful. He's such a scholar of how art works.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to him is an education.
Yeah.
So,
Joe, what's your favorite part of the art reveal?
Watch these people panic. See, I look at it from a different point of view. I'm the outsider, so I'm watching everybody. I'm thinking, because you always see all these horror stories first. Oh my God, I'm not. I said, you're gonna know. Don't worry. Oh no, and who was telling me about when they walked up and seen the picture? They were completely baffled because they didn't think there was anything in their story that could be turned in to a picture. So it's the one with the individual person. So y'all know what story I'm talking about, but they were just stunned. They were like, I just never thought of it like that. And this is the author's just, and it was, of course, it was the perfect way to show it because that's what the story was about. But still,
well, this was my favorite moment.
Oh, Dorothy.
Oh yeah.
Handshakes, but she was just overwhelmed with it, and it was perfect.
Oh yeah,
it was so beautiful.
Yeah, she had a good trip. We talked many times during a trip. She was nervous a few times.
She's back home. She's obviously back home right now. And she's gotten such amazing media in South Africa right now. She just had another article came out yesterday.
It's
a big feature article. Yeah.
I'm sure anything positive down there is going to go over big. And She was.
And then
she was-
Bafu in
Slovakia.
Slovakia, in Slovakia, the papers they're coming out. Then
Damon is American.
illustrator takes Hollywood by storm, and wins the big prize. Just like
Yeah.
it's great because they're just totally celebrating him as well with great media. He's gotten several huge articles as well in Slovakia.
It's nice to see. I mean, it's nice to see all this media. It's just more people that'll submit next year.
Exactly.
More stories for Jody to read.
There we go.
She's like, well, I know you and I've talked about this before, but I was talking with some people a couple weeks ago about this, and they asked me, I said, guys, don't send in a story where it takes you 20 pages to establish whatever you're doing. I said, because they're gonna go, and I said, it's not because they don't like it. I said, you got to understand there's a lot of stories coming in. And if you're not hooking the person who's reading this off the get-go, and I said, you got to hook the people working with Miss Jody and Jody. And I said, if you do, then it's going to get past. I said, just because you get them to read it and send it on still doesn't mean you're going to win. Just means you have a good chance of winning. I said, they're not referring garbage. I said, but I'm telling you, I've asked all of them this. And I said, and if you've got something where you're just dragging on, you're not getting it. It doesn't matter how good the story ends up being, you're not going to get to that point. I said, so give them some. I said, you got to hook them. I said, think about fishing people. You got to hook them early on. I said, there's many shows y'all can go listen to. I said, Miss Jody's talked about this. Tim's talked about this. Dean's talked about this. Almost every author I've interviewed talked about it. I said, so, you can go listen to what the judges are listening for. It's a little bit of a cheat. Not really, but it's a little bit, kind of gives you an idea.
A couple months ago, we did a podcast a few months ago with Jody and the first readers. Turn on and turn off. Like this is
because
it's a market. Rise of the Future is a market, and if you don't know the market, you're it doesn't mean you're not a good writer. It's just that Rise of the Future is a specific market, and you better know your market if you're going to try to sell it.
Yeah.
Who was it that sent me Gone with the Wind in Space? I was like. I wasn't even sure to think about it, to be honest. I said, am I going to waste my time reading this? Because I had my doubts, okay? And so I said, I tell you what, when it comes out in audio book, send it to me. So just recently, they sent it to me. So I'm listening to it, and I'm thinking, they've sold like 600,000 copies. I'm just telling y'all now, there's no accounting for taste. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to give you a real name and story because that would be wrong to them. But God, I wanted to shoot myself after just. Anyway, it was hard. The whole time I'm thinking.
I'd rather be thrilled by it immediately. So there are stories that I start to read. I'm dragged into their world.
Oh shit!
Perspective of the writer right away. Like, for example, Mike. It's a knockout right away for me. And I've been very fortunate to read some incredibly wonderful stories. The ones that you keep reading all the way through. When the first reader says, "I couldn't stop reading this one," that's a cue for me. That's a great thing to have them say, "You need to read this. You need to read." I couldn't stop. I found myself on page 16 before I realized it. That's great. And that's what you want.
Yeah.
He went, okay, this book got a chance.
I want to bring the readers the best possible stories, and I have not been disappointed in the ones that I've passed along. So
because she has to keep people's attention spans like mine, and mine's not real long. So you better have something that's going to keep me reading. And I can say I can make it from front to back throughout the whole book and enjoy the entire thing. So far, I think I'm about 20 books in now. I think I've been having trouble finding other ones, but I can read from front to back and enjoy the whole thing. The last 10, I actually like the way they're arranged better, so it kind of flows through the book. The stories, I don't want to say it's a progression, but in a way it's a progression because the stories are coming through in such a way that they kind of enhance each other as they go through. It's the only way I can really say it. But so it's always a good read, and the stories are always good stories.
One thing that makes what we have here unique with this one here is that a lot of times an anthology has a theme, and there's no theme with Rise of the Future. So you've got it's just all over the place. And that's one thing that's really great with, when I get these reviews in from the review publications, they just kind of like the last one I just said that we got from both Library Journal and from what was the one I just said with Gary, with Dave Truesdale, with Tangent, yeah, was that they were all good. Sometimes it's like every now and you've got, they're used to finding a publication like by theme. There's always some throwaways, it seems like. But this one here, there aren't any, and it's all over the place. It's not like, okay, these are, we do have 4 dragon stories in this particular volume, which was an anomaly. But some of these things, it just happens almost like by chance that it happens, because it's not planned in advance.
And they're different stories. So, I mean, it's not like
they're very different.
Yeah. Stories.
Yeah, what am I do with cookie cutters?
I arranged them. I put the anthologies together. My husband's company, Wolf Austin Associates. And Associates. There is an art to designing an anthology so that it flows, and that it has certain waves and troughs, so that after really intense one, you have an easygoing story, and then there are breaks for the articles and the judges' stories. These are very deliberately designed.
Yep.
So it's an art.
Yeah,
So,
it's an art. It is. But that's why I tell people, to read them and enjoy the stories. So I usually get 3 reads before I actually sit down for any long interviews with the winners. So I get the original read, which is kind of like just speed my way through it just to get it in the head, just so there's points to the stories that stick out in my head. And the second time, I'll usually start reading it the day before I get on the plane, or the day of, and I'll read it on the flight in, or I'll read it the rest of the way. And then when I'm at the hotel, I'll usually be reading through the book just to keep the stories in my brain. Because once I start getting on a bunch of other stuff, I have to go back and think about stuff. So this way, it's just easier for me. Because as soon as like 6 months go by, it'll be out of my head, and something else will be in there replacing it with something else.
I sent you the audiobook. Did you get it, Joe?
The what?
The audiobook. I sent it to you.
I didn't get no audiobook from you. See, he teases me, people. Y'all see how he is? He is a tease. Now I know why Emily's always smacking him around. I see. I know the truth now. Oh, and speaking of that, Mr. Marco, so I asked about giving this away 2 weeks ago. Might have been 3 weeks ago. It was before I went to LA.
Your screen's covering up whatever you're pointing at.
Anyway, pointing at. Hold on, let me see. I'm pointing about this case back here. There it is. You barely see it on my screen. There it is, right
there. We go.
So 3 weeks ago, we were giving this away, and I said all you had to do was tell me who's number 2 at Galaxy Press, and then I even made it easier after that, and I said who is John's wife, and y'all are telling me after 3 weeks you have not figured out Emily Goodman is John's wife. Really? So y'all are not getting that. We're going to have to figure out some other way we're giving this away, because apparently, and Emily was just on with us the other day. I mean, geez, people. Anyway,
we're about ready to
get that rant out there.
Jody's got another appointment she's got to go to. Yes. So any last thing that you want to say, Jody, to people listening here about Writers of the Future, why they should get this latest volume, in my humble opinion, which is a really worthwhile purchase.
It is a wonderful collection. You won't find anything like it anywhere else. It's a library in a book. You have near future. You have wonderful sociological explorations. You have psychic detectives with art. You have you have dinosaurs, humorous dinosaur story, and everything that you could possibly want, because they're all really good stories, and I'm proud that they're there. So it's a great collection. It's number 42, so obviously it's the answer to everything.
Exactly.
Life, the universe, and everything. We've talked about that. So take a look at the book, buy the book, or listen to the book, and it's worth having in your personal library.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Jody. We so appreciate you with everything you do for the contest as well.
Thank you. It's good
Thank
to
you
see
so
all.
much, Jody.
Yes,
Okay.
workaholic.
Bye, Jody.
Lovely to know you.
We got to give an award for
Bye,
just being working. Nice seeing you, Jody.
Take
Give Bill a hug.
Long distance hugs. Bye-bye.
Okay.
I know. We've got to get out of here soon. So, what do you mean, new guest in the studio? New guest left the studio. What? Look, this thing's retarded today, man. All right, I retract that last word. If anybody writes to me, I don't want to hear about it. Write to Michelle. She likes that kind of stuff.
Well, one thing I want to do, I said at the beginning of the show here, but anybody that can either email Joe or email me at jgoodwin@galaxypress.com that you got a copy of Rise to the Future Volume 42 ebook, the trade paperback, or the audiobook, I'll send you the artwork as a screensaver for either your laptop or your pad or for your phone. And I have a little package I'll send you. It's because it's several different images depending on what kind of a device you have. And I'll send it to you so you can use it as a screensaver. It's beautiful art and something you can have. So, but just let us know and we'll do that. And then also, if you've gotten the book and have read it, please post your review on Amazon or on Goodreads or on Audible, wherever you can, so you can let people know, what you think of the book, and hopefully you like it a lot and encourage other people to get it.
Jesse, I've never noticed books on Reddit. I'm sure there is. I've just never noticed. I mean, I've seen them review a lot of stuff on Reddit, but I don't remember seeing any author stuff there. I'll look next time on there. And whatever the hell your name is, QB, whatever it is. I promise I will dig your email out and send it to John. No, I got several that came in yesterday or the day before when we were talking about this. I just been, well, we're in the middle of starting a new TV station. It's not an easy thing. There's a lot of stuff going on. Yes. And my boss is a meanie, man. She's Jesus. Thank God I own the place. I'd already been fired. It's rough, man. It's tough. I know it is. But no, we really do have a lot of new TV stuff coming up. So it's going to be a lot of new television stuff that we're going to be offering. Eventually we'll have John's pretty face on TV so you can see, and everybody else for that matter. So it's you'll be able to get it on Roku, a Fire Stick, Google, Samsung, Apple, and then OSI is just off of our website. So you'll be able to get real television, like when you're watching your 70-inch or 90-inch TV at home. You'll be able to see yourself, which is great. See, Michael can go home and watch himself right now. He can go put on his big TV and watch himself. Look how good I am. I like it because we're broadcasting 4K. So in 4K, if you're watching in 4K, you can tell me what's in his eyes. Now you can if you're just watching high def, even though there's something there. But in 4K, not only can you tell me what this is, you can tell me what it looks like. But there's something there. There's something actually in both eyes. I always leave stuff in there because I give giveaways for the TV people, because that's the only way you can see is if you got a big screen TV. Because you can put us up on a 70-inch and then zoom in and say, I know what that is. You can't do that. I'm sorry, guys. YouTube Rumble don't do that. Yeah, it's not my fault. I just work here, man. But we're giving away, and I haven't decided what we're going to do to give this away. But we're going to give it away. And remember, I said when I do, I'm going to give away book 40 with it. Because this is actually 30 through 39. I'm going to give you book 40. So you're going to have 30 through 40. Only collection of its
11
time.
books.
So you can enjoy it. Plus, it comes with the case. Even though there's a little tail right there, you have to deal with that because it got shipping back and forth. Well, we gave it away, and they kept it. And they were even displaying it, and then they sent it back. I don't ask. There was no reason. They just said they didn't. It was, it would have got damaged where it wasn't. Obviously, it did a little bit. But anyway, it's a great set of books. And the ones on top, only one of them are getting given away. One of them already did, and the other one did signed. So one of them is for me. Sorry. I'll give away one this Christmas. No, I don't know if they sold out or not. You'd have to ask John. I know they signed X amount of autographed books at the book sign. Yes, I've seen poor Michael's hand.
Books A Million has some. You can go to booksamillion.com. I think, and order one that's signed.
Yeah, see, so if you want one signed like that and you can't, I'm not going to give this away till Christmas. So, no, y'all know that. No, this I'm going to give away either today or next week. This is going to get given away. I mean, we tried to before I went to LA, but apparently y'all were all smoking crack or something. I don't know what the hell was going on. the fact you don't know who Emily was just flooring me. I was like, Jesus, she's been on a network 100 times. And it's not like she's a little docile little thing. She's got a personality, so she's been here. I'm just confused. But anyway, something we'll talk about this probably next Saturday. We'll give it away on something. And I know Michael won the big Kahuna prize over there. Y'all don't really the picture doesn't do that thing justice. It's like this big.
It's pretty big.
You can use it as a weapon. This thing is monstrous. And well, no, because they got the big one like he won, and then there's another one that's a smaller one, but it's kind of the same. But
well, his blue one, his first place winner is a big one, but then the grand prize winner is a big. You got big and big.
Yeah, he's big. Huh? Well, no, they all. What are you talking about? Everybody gets a trophy. Yeah, if you place, you get a trophy. They don't just go around giving you trophies, though. I mean, what the hell's wrong with you people? And you only qualify for the number one if you're number one. In other words, if you place second or third, you can't qualify for the big Kahuna prize. You got to have one first place. So it's only the best of the best of the best, as Men in Black would say. Y'all got it now. Y'all figured it out. No, really. I mean, that's how it works. So if you make it to number one, then you got a chance at the big dollars. Oh man, they load you up with suitcases and checks. Yeah, people tell you these people they have a good time. It's a lot of fun to watch, and there's so much of it so unexpected to the winners. I mean, everybody hears stuff because we tell them stuff when they come on the shows and stuff, but it's no. When you get there, the event is just different. It's all consuming.
Yeah.
Thank God for John and the coffee, because I wouldn't have made it through a couple of them. That coffee came in handy. Nobody sleeps. No, it's like nobody sleeps for that. I mean, obviously everybody gets about 8 much sleep, but not really. My problem is I didn't usually get finished until 1 or 2, and then it takes 2 or 3 hours to unwind. By then, it's damn near breakfast time. And well, you got to catch people in between stuff. So if I'm fighting around, so I could catch them in the morning and then go eat breakfast after they went across the street. It would make it easier on me and them. And I'd get my breakfast. I get to get my whatever the hell I was eating, French toast.
It's high protein breakfast. French toast.
My $36 piece of French toast. One piece, people. We got orange juice, coffee, and 1 piece of French toast, $36. Then I thought New Orleans was bad. I was like, jeez. And the bad part is it wasn't the French toast. French toast was $17. The orange juice was $6. And the coffee, who charges $6 for coffee? Poor rich in between. $6 for a cup of coffee is ridiculous, man. It's just No, it's a great time, guys. I'm bitching just for the sake of bitching, but it's a great time. All I can tell y'all is submit, win, writersofthefuture.com, win away. You want to buy something, galaxypress.com, but go over there. Well, go take the course and win the contest. No, no, both is there. Who's that? Dean? No.
Yeah, so everything on writersofthefuture.com is free. You can enter the contest free. You can take the online workshop. We've got the podcast. We've got a forum. Everything on there is no charge to you, and it's all designed as originally conceived by Owen Hubbard when he started this contest to enable the aspiring writer or artist to make that break, and it's really, really important. So we broke this year. We broke 1,000 writers and artists being celebrated, and we're still going strong.
Yeah, all the information about the illustrators are there too.
Yeah.
So everything you need to know about the contest is right there. Just take your time, go through the site, cruise it. There's going to be helpful information there as well. Also, what they expect from you, and then go from there. All you got to do is win.
Exactly.
People win every year, man. Come on, how hard can it be? I mean, really, 24 people win every year. I mean, that's pretty good odds. 24 out of God knows how many thousands of people. No, really, it's only like 50 people submit. So y'all are okay. Go ahead and submit.
Anyway, so Mike, how do we get hold of you?
Okay, so you can find me at my website. That's the easiest place to start. That's www.michaeltkuester.com. I have my Substack, Martians and Lasers, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, X, at Michael T. Kuester, and you can find me on Blue Sky at michaeltkuester.com.
Well, I'm banned from that place. It's I'm banned. I'm never allowed back on Blue Sky ever. They said I can't come back. I was like, why? No, actually, that's a Twitter ban that carried over to Blue Sky. That's how much they hate it. That's literally how much they hated me. Oh no, you were banned for life on Twitter. You can't come over here, man. We're sorry. Stay over there with Eli. He'll put up with that. No, James, I'm just kidding. We're on most social media platforms, but I don't host social media anymore. Somebody on the network does that. So as far as Blue Sky or Substack, I wouldn't be under me. That would be somebody else who does it. So you'd have to ask them. The only accounts I keep track of is the ones I have to answer, and that's the older accounts. So, and that's only when somebody messaged me directly. Everything else is handled by somebody else. And as far as who makes who behave, that's Michelle DeRozier. That's who. Yeah, she oversees all the sites. She watches all of it. Everything that goes on, she keeps an eye on. That's her job. But anyway, we got to go because I got to go find something to eat. We still got other shows coming on. Coming up next is a chat. We'll be talking about the former FBI assistant director. This is going to be an interesting conversation. We're going to be using some of Telsey's Gabbard's information, some of the stuff they found in the burn room documents, along with other stuff. We've been looking into this for about a year now, and I noticed it's been coming to head. Even John had sent me something about it earlier. It was funny because we're going to do a show on it today. Following that, though, we'll also be having some very new UFO vids of stuff taken in the last 3 years. It was usually in groups. So this is a little bit different than what you're normally seeing. And, of course, we have a food porn segment at the end, which has nothing to do with porn, people, just food, just so y'all know. I know, it's one of those words that has connotations, apparently. But I know that I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio and the Author's Quill. I hope you joined the show. Don't forget, Preceding the show is Writers of the Future. John's there. He was on just before the show, so be sure to come by and check it out. Let us know what you think. And leave feedback, people. Don't be scared to hit the feedback button. What is wrong with you people? Feedback. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Trust me. I've been doing this a long time. Everybody. A long time.